Have you ever seen a monster capable of dragging a Tyrannosaurus Rex underwater and biting it to death? He is the Mosasaurus. Scientists have discovered dinosaur bones inside his stomach. What does that imply? In his eyes, the king of the land is nothing more than a takeaway meal delivered to his doorstep. In 2008, paleontologists in Kansas, USA, unearthed a sea turtle fossil. The shell was densely covered in bite marks, having been bitten at least 4 times, yet every wound had healed. What does this tell us? The Mosasaurus was repeatedly tormenting his prey, much like a cat playing with a mouse. But the most terrifying truth is not that. He hides a second set of jaws in his throat, capable of launching forward from his mouth to pull prey directly into his stomach. Do you think that's all? Not at all. In 2017, scientists at the University of Otago in New Zealand conducted an ultrasound scan on a Mosasaurus mandible. They discovered a groundbreaking secret. The Mosasaurus' lower jaw had a gap in the middle, allowing it to split left and right, just like a snake's. It could open its mouth up to 150 degrees. What does that mean? He could swallow an entire seal whole, without needing to tear it apart, without needing to chew, just like swallowing a pill. A fossil discovered in South Africa in 2012 confirms this. Inside the esophagus of a Mosasaurus, an 1.8-meter-long tuna was found stuck. He hadn't bitten it once. He had swallowed it whole. But it gets even more extreme. In 2020, the Royal Ontario Museum in Canada used laser scanning technology to analyze the spine of a Mosasaurus. They discovered a stunning feature. Every single vertebra of the Mosasaurus was 40 teram thicker than those of other marine creatures of the same size. Furthermore, the bone density was shockingly high. What does this mean? It means that the Mosasaurus body was like a reinforced concrete pillar, capable of withstanding immense impact. After calculations, scientists found that when the Mosasaurus struck his prey at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour, the impact force exceeded 8 tons. It's equivalent to a car hitting you at high speed. Yet the Mosasaurus remained completely unharmed. This explains a mystery that has puzzled scientists for years. Why so many fossils of large prey show signs of having their spines crushed? A plesiosaur fossil found in Morocco in 2016 had 3 cervical vertebrae, completely displaced. Yet there were no bite marks. Paleontologists speculate that this plesiosaur had its neck snapped by the Mosasaurus, like a baseball hit by a bat. Before the Mosasaurus slowly began his meal, this hunting style is unheard of among modern marine life. So the question is, why did the Mosasaurus evolve such monstrous abilities? The answer lies in the ocean 89 million years ago. The ocean at that time was a completely different world from today. There was a massive inland sea in the middle of North America, called the Western Interior Seaway. It spanned over 1,000 kilometers in width, stretching from the Gulf of Mexico to the Arctic Ocean, with a length exceeding 3,000 kilometers. However, the water was only 50,100 meters deep. What does that mean? It was like a massive, shallow dish. In these shallow waters, food was more abundant than you could ever imagine. The density of life was over 10 times that of modern oceans. Sea turtles were everywhere. Bass and squid were omnipresent. And even pterosaurs were hunting fish on the surface. It was essentially a giant alloaconiot buffet. But competition was also incredibly fierce. Plesiosaurs, pliosaurs, and sharks. All sorts of predators crowded the same waters, each wanting a piece of the action. It was in this environment of extreme competition that the Mosasaurus began his wild arms race. In 2013, the American Museum of Natural History compared Mosasaurus fossils from different periods. The research revealed a staggering rate of evolution. In just 10 million years, the Mosasaurus grew 3 times in size, increased his bite force 5-fold, and doubled his swimming speed. This rate of evolution, in the entire history of vertebrates, was unprecedented. Furthermore, extreme specialization occurred within the Mosasaurus family. Some specialized in eating fish, with slender bodies. In high speed, some hunted hard-shelled creatures, with thick skulls and powerful bite forces. Some were dedicated ambush predators, with dark skin and stealthy movements, and others preyed specifically on other mosasaurs, possessing longer teeth and more aggressive temperaments. Scientists have discovered at least 17 different species of Mosasaurus worldwide. They occupied almost every ecological niche, from shallow waters to the deep sea. But this family shared one common trait: violence. Extreme, brutal violence. In 2011, Hokkaido University in Japan surveyed Mosasaurus fossils held in museums globally, finding that over 52 fontarum of adult specimens bore scars from past battles on their skeletons. And these were no minor injuries. Some had ribs bitten through, some had skulls punctured, and others had parts of their tails bitten off. But the most terrifying part is, all these wounds had healed. What does that mean? After sustaining such lethal injuries, these mosasaurs were somehow able to survive and continue fighting, continue hunting. Their vitality was terrifyingly strong. In 2018, the University of Liege in Belgium found a unique Mosasaurus fossil. Only half of this mosasaur's right pectoral fin remained, bitten off by another Mosasaurus. However, the stump had completely healed, and new bone structures had even formed. Scientists speculate that after losing half his fin, this Mosasaurus lived for at least another 5 to 7 years. Still capable of hunting, still capable of competing, this level of tenacity is simply heavenifying. But the most terrifying aspect of the Mosasaurus, it is not about how strong he was, but how intelligent he was. 2019 Museum Farnaderkand in Berlin, Germany. Scientists used CT scans to reconstruct the brain of the Mosasaurus. They discovered that his prefrontal cortex was exceptionally developed. What is this region responsible for? It is responsible for planning, decision-making, and anticipation. What does this mean? The Mosasaurus was not a mindless killing machine. He could think. He could devise hunting strategies. By analyzing bite marks on the fossils of prey, scientists found that when attacking large prey, the Mosasaurus would first bite off the fins of his target, rendering it unable to swim. Then he would slowly torment it. This was a calculated, premeditated attack. Even more startling evidence came from 2021. Research from the Queensland Museum in Australia. They analyzed a site where Mosasaurus hunted in a group. In the same geological layer, they discovered the fossils of 5 mosasaurs and 3 large fish. The time of death was identical. Furthermore, the positions of the 5 mosasaurs suggested a surrounding formation. Scientists hypothesize that the Mosasaurus may have hunted cooperatively, much like a wolf pack. Some were responsible for driving the prey. Others were responsible for the ambush. This level of intelligence is rare, even among modern reptiles. Yet such a powerful, intelligent, and highly adaptable species suddenly vanished 66 million years ago, and they disappeared so completely, leaving behind no descendants. What exactly happened behind the scenes? 2022, University of Bristol, UK. They released a groundbreaking study. They used computer simulations of the Late Cretaceous period to model the collapse of the marine ecosystem. The results revealed a shocking fact. The extinction of the Mosasaurus had already begun long before the asteroid impact. The evidence comes from the fossil record. Scientists calculated the statistics for the last 10 million years. Looking at the changes in the number of Mosasaurus fossils, they found that, starting 70 million years ago, the population of the Mosasaurs was in continuous decline, decreasing by about 8 fontarum every million years. By the time the asteroid struck 66 million years ago, the Mosasaurus population had already declined by nearly 60 fontarum from its peak. Why did this happen? Carbon isotope analysis from 2020 provided the answer. In the final 5 million years before their extinction, the diet of the Mosasaurus shifted dramatically. The proportion of other marine creatures they consumed dropped from 85 fonteram down to 38 fonteram, while the proportion of cannibalism skyrocketed to 50 fonteram. What does this indicate? It indicates that food in the ocean was no longer sufficient. The Mosasaurus began to prey on their own kind on a massive scale. This triggered a terrifying chain reaction. Large mosasaurs ate smaller mosasaurs, leading to fewer and fewer young individuals. The reproduction rate began to plummet. At the same time, due to increased inbreeding, genetic defects began to accumulate. Resistance to disease declined. Survival capabilities weakened. The entire population entered a death spiral. 2023, the latest research from Yale University in the United States analyzed Mosasaurus fossils from the final million years before extinction. They discovered a heartbreaking phenomenon. Juvenile mosasaurs born during that period had an average body length only 40 fonteram of the adults, whereas normally it should be 65 fonteram. What does this mean? It means that the Mosasaurus mothers were severely malnourished. The offspring born were increasingly weak, and these weak juveniles were more easily eaten by other mosasaurs. The population size shrank further. Then, 66 million years ago, the asteroid strike delivered the fatal blow. Dust kicked up by the impact blocked out the sunlight. Ocean temperatures plummeted. Plankton died in massive numbers. The already fragile food chain collapsed instantly. The Mosasaurus lost even its last remaining food source. The fossil record shows that within 60 days after the impact, every single mosasaurus across the globe disappeared. None of them survived. However, those smaller sharks, with a food intake only 1/110th that of the Mosasaurus, managed to pull through. Those sea turtles capable of hibernation, able to go months without eating, also survived. Those crocodiles that could eat carrion, able to eat anything, remained completely unscathed. Looking back at this history today, we see a profound lesson. In the natural world, the most powerful are not necessarily the ones that live the longest. The mosasaur spent 27 million years evolving into the king of the ocean. But this throne became his shackles. A massive body size requires massive amounts of food. Efficient hunting depleted the ocean. Cannibalism destroyed the population. When the environment changed, they had no way out. They could only march toward extinction. As for those seemingly mediocre species, sharks, sea turtles, crocodiles, they lacked the ferocity of the mosasaurs, but they were flexible. They could quickly adjust their diet. They could lower their metabolism. They could survive in extreme environments. That is why they survived for 66 million years. Witnessing the rise and fall of countless apex predators, this story tells us true strength is not about taking one thing to the extreme. It is about maintaining the ability to survive amidst change. When you commit all your resources to a single path, you lose the resilience to handle the unknown. The Mosasaurus is gone, but his 18-meter-long skeleton still leaves every visitor in awe, reminding us that evolution is not the pursuit of perfection, but the pursuit of persistence. Survival is not about who is stronger, but about who can last the longest. Hit the follow button. Next time, I will show you who took over the ocean. After the extinction of the Mosasaurus, that story is equally breathtaking.